Yeah. So, um, could probably make myself brighter or not, whatever. Um, so hope everybody's doing well. Um, we're, uh, or I'm working on this, project, that I call EventOS, which is, um, an experimental uh, thing, an experimental operating system that I've been working on, and it's not an RTOS, but it is an embedded operating system, and it's event driven. And I don't want to get into why I say that, what makes it event driven and not an RTOS, and blah blah blah, all that stuff. But today we're going to add pub sub or publish subscribe pattern to the operating system, which is kind of the um, as far as an event driven operating system goes, it's kind of the killer feature. It's the thing that you really want, and it's the thing that allows us in little embedded systems like I work on, allow us to do more object-oriented things, or object-oriented-ish things, without having to do C++ or something else. So, but it allows us to decouple subsystems and still allow them to interact, but they are like remain separated and can't, or is very unlikely for them to like interfere with each other. Since we're programming in C on a computer without any kind of memory protection, pretty much anything goes anyway. But that shouldn't keep us as programmers from kind of building good structures to keep things from stomping on top of each other, right? So let me open up this file, and this is where I'm at the moment. I have this thing called an action. I think other people might call this a task. I hate using the term task because task seems to be overloaded. Depending on who you talk to, it means different things. So I call it an action. And an action is just a function that makes a little bit of progress. And that's really all it does. Actions should be short-lived. They shouldn't have big honking loops in them. They shouldn't be doing, a whole lot of things, but a collection of actions work together to actually get things done in the system. And a action has a chunk of memory associated with it, and I call that its context. And so what you can do is you can tell the OS, hey, do this action in the near future, and associate a context with that action, so that's it's passed in here. And you can also say, if you already have a context, you can say, hey, do this action with this context. The other thing you can do is you can say, hey, do this thing after some number of ticks. And that allows us to add time as kind of a dimension to this thing. There's a surprising amount of stuff you can do or can program and keep things nicely decoupled with pretty much this like do with thing. Another word that people might use for an action that I could have used is command, because this is a variation of the command pattern. But I like action because it says do something, take action, do something. So, so basically, what this is a queue of actions, and what exec does is it loops through that queue and calls the actions. It's that simple. So this is a cooperative system, if an action goes off and takes 5 minutes to run, then nothing else happens for 5 minutes. So, and notice the scheduling of these actions is just after so many ticks do the action. So it's at least this many ticks. It's not a hard schedule, and so I refrain from calling this an RTOS because there's really nothing real time there's nothing in this that guarantees any time of scheduling or real timeness. But what it does guarantee, if there's something to do, if there's an action to perform, it's going to get to it as soon as it can with all the other actions in the queue. So it's not like we're going to say, oh, do this, and if there's nothing else to do, it's going to say, well, I'm going to wait until it's my turn. No, if there's something to do, it's going to take the action. So it's much simpler than a, say, threaded-based system. It's just a collection of actions. And of course, there's only one stack and stuff, and it is a cooperative system. I don't have any mutexes, don't have any semaphores, don't have any of that stuff. And I found that using these primitives, for the most part, I don't need them. And there's some other things that happen. One of the things that makes this kind of system really better than just having this like actions thing is PubSub, because then you can say you can publish that, hey, I received a character. Whoever cares, do something about it, or some other thing happened. Whoever cares, do something about it. And the thing that's publishing doesn't have to know or care if there's any subscribers to that action or that it's called the topic to that event. Event. Weird. So what that leads us to, and I kind of scribbled some things down before starting the stream. So there's a little bit of pre-thought going into all of this, but let me scooch. But not a huge amount. So let me adjust my stuff here so I'm not cut off as much. So that's where we're at. So I did some thinking about this. I've been thinking about this for a couple of weeks, if not longer. And so let's go ahead and try to make the simplest possible publish subscribe system, and then let's evolve it into something that's a little more pragmatic and real world. Because the first version of this is going to be very, shall we say, academic. In that it's going to be horrible from it will be functional, but it won't necessarily be very performant or very efficient. And it's nobody would do that in the real world kind of thing. But we need to step on that stone so we can get to the other stones where we'll morph it into something a little more real world-ish. And for those that care, very soon I plan on publishing this OS thing on GitHub, but I need to add comments and a license file and all that garbage. So I do plan on publishing this, but I wanted to get it to a certain baseline level before I published it, and we're almost there. And there's a lot of things I want to do with this to make it more mature and like more better, and more pragmatic and applicable to like the real world. So what we're gonna do, oops, wrong computer. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna hop over here and we're gonna add this publish subscribe thing. So I think what I want to do is I want to add a function to the OS called subscribe. Crazy, I know, right? And it's going to take a uint32, and I'm going to call this the topic. I could call it the event. And the topic is kind of a more traditional term used in pub subsystems for what this value represents. Personally, I like event better. Topic seems kind of ugh. Typically in topics in other pub subsystems, the topic is like an entire string. We're in embedded system. Strings are horrible, right? Horrible. So it's just a magic uint32. That's all it is. And then we're going to subscribe. And what we're going to say is we're going to give it an action. And so what this says is when somebody publishes something on this topic, our action is going to be executed. So that's the subscribe thing. And then I think it's worth having a unsubscribe piece as well. So that seems like a thing. And then, of course, it wouldn't be pub/sub without a publish function. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to just take the signature for do, and I'm going to call this publish. And what does publish take? Publish takes not the action, but the topic. All right, so, and you give it a context size, and then it will give you back a context, and this context will be passed to all the subscribers. And then just for completeness, you don't always necessarily want to create a new context. Sometimes you want to use an existing context. And so we'll follow the pattern established elsewhere here. And we'll do that. And so I think that's it. I think that's all you need. It doesn't make sense to do a publish after. Well, maybe it does, but you could just do that with an action, right? So publish with a context. So notice that we're reusing concepts that already exist in the OS, and that's going to help us out a lot. So with this, I think we can do this in one stream. We can certainly do like I said, an academic version of all these things, and then we can evolve them to be more mature and pragmatic and whatnot. So yeah, so let me check. My thing. All right. So that's that. Let me check something on my phone real quick, and then we can start typing. Okay, we're good. All right, so these are the 4 functions that I want to or at least subscribe, unsubscribe, and publish. Publish with is, if there's one thing that we probably don't need, is publish with, but it may be useful. So I think, where do we want to start? I think we want to start with subscribe. And then to test this, we'll do a version of the Blinky program that publishes Blink actions, and then we can experiment with that on a real running system if we need to. So okay. So this is as much as I want to kind of sketch out without doing any like unit testing. And so I think the first thing we need to do is subscribe. Subscribe sounds like a great thing to do first. So let's go in here. New file. Subscribe. And I need to put on glasses so I can see better. Does that help? And maybe subscribe.c. Sure. And then of course we need a unit test. So in my testing thing, what we need to do is create a thing called test subscribe. Okay. And then there's a bunch of boilerplate stuff in the test. And what I'm going to do is copy this guy, paste it in here, and then gut it. I keep saying that I want to make a template thing and add it to the editor and all that fancy schmancy stuff, but somehow I never do. And I think I never do because this took like 2 seconds. It's just not saving that much time. I'm gonna nuke all that stuff. Nuke all that stuff. We're gonna nuke all that stuff. Okay. So, starting from scratch is always hard, and it's always hard to figure out what the first thing to do is and like how to begin. This is always the hardest part, or one of the hardest parts. So we know, so one of the things that I do when I'm kind of lost is I'm going to say, well, we need to write a test. All right. So that, so test what? Test. So we're testing subscribe. That's implicit in the file. So we don't have to, what we don't have to do is put subscribe in the test, because that is what this whole file is about. It's testing subscription. So one of the first places to start is assume that there's no subscriptions in the system, and we're going to do our first subscription. So we're going to test with an empty list or an empty subscription. So test. I want to say first up because just call it empty for now. And if we come up with a better name, we can change it. So test empty thing I always call setup, no matter what. And now let's call, oops, I also wanted to do this. And let's call our subscribe. And this is immediately going to force us to do a bunch of stuff. So get rid of that. So now we need a topic. So let's make a test. Test topic 42. And so let's use that. And then we're going to need an action. And so to do that, we need a mock void one action. Yeah. And this is our test action, which takes an OS context. All right, and we're already including the operating system and the thing, and so now we need to do a one of these for our test action, because that's what we do. And then I think we need to do that. All right. So before we even do any asserts, let's make this compile. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into test thing and run the OS tests. And so what I'm expecting is compile failures and things saying woe is me, and it is. And what do we got? Test action undeclared. Mock void one test action. Okay. What I'm looking for is linker thing. And same deal there. Unresolved reference. Okay, so now we can come over here and copy, paste in that, and that. Okay. Okay, so this noise is another test, and I may go in and turn it off here in a minute if I find it annoying. Okay, so we got to compile. Now we should probably assert something, and I'm going to assert equals what? So the expected is what? So at this point, I think it's worth saying that we need to think about, like, what does this actually do? How do we want the first iteration of this thing to work? that kind of thing. So I think what I'm going to do first is a simple linked list. And so I think what I expect is OS subscriptions, whatever that is equal to our test subscription. All right, and at this point, I'm going to tell Sea Lion to get rid of these guys, and then we'll get more help from the IDE once it's done thinking real hard. So come on, CMake, you can do it. All right, so now we got red. All right. So OS subscriptions, what is this? I think it's something over here that is an OS subscription. I think it's one of these. And then I think this guy knows about that. All right. And I also think that there's one of these. That is the test subscription. Since that guy's a pointer, I'm going to say it's a reference to one of those. So that gets rid of that red, but now we need to define what this subscription thingy is. And for that, let's go onto here. And come on. And so context stuff. These are all the internal data structures and stuff. I'm just going to go here. This is stuff I need to clean up before I publish. I'm going to call it what do I call it? OS subscription. And it's so we need a type def struct for helping, and like that. So now everybody should be happy. We haven't filled this in, but I don't think anybody cares yet. So this is the minimum we can do. So I think I'm going to come up here and I'm going to set that to null. All right. So now we have initialized that. We're going to call our thing. We're going to see if our test subscription gets assigned to there. All right, so we got more to do, more infrastructure stuff to do, but okay, we got a failing test. All right. So, yeah. So, what are we going to do here in this function to make this better? So I think what we need to do is we need to assign to this a new subscription, right? So I'm going to say subscriptions, and then I'm going to poke around in here in my OS thing, quickly here. So I have mem allocate and mem free. So we're going to use mem allocate. right? So we're going to allocate one of these subscription record things, right? And because of that, just because I know how degenerate C is, I'm going to put in here a thing for now, so that it's not a zero size struct, because otherwise we'd be allocating a zero size thing, and that doesn't make sense. So size of one of these and put it in there. Yeah, we haven't even done anything with the action yet. We're still figuring out this test subscription. So in order to make this work, so if we run this now, I'm going to go ahead and do it. We're going to get another link error because our test doesn't know anything at all about memallocate. And it says memallocate, never heard of it. So we need to add a mock memalloc to that we can control. So we'll just take that and say mock value 1 thing, oops, turns that, its name is that, one argument like that, and then mock reset OS memalloc. And then what I like to do is keep that in alphabetical order. I want this in alphabetical order, and to be honest, I want this to be in alphabetical order. And I don't care if it's extern or not. It's an implementation detail. What I want to do is I want to be able to find this name quickly and then know the details about it. Organizing it by extern makes no sense to me. So if the syntax was different, I think it would be more obvious that that's not a thing that we care about. So we have our mock alloc, and then if we were to run this again, now it's going to know about it, but the test framework is going to bitch about it because we haven't told it what to return. We haven't told the mock what to return. This is return data not set for OS malloc. So in here, we need to tell OS malloc what to return. So we do mock returns memalloc, and I want you to return address of the test subscription. Why? Because this is a test, and we know that the only place malloc is called is here, which is our test subscription, which is our subscription. So now we might have a passing test. We do. Yay. So let's add another assert. So we've determined that we could do some other things here. We could assert that allocate got called, but it must have gotten called because of the way it works. So I don't care so much about that. What I do care about is that there's probably feel like we haven't done anything with this action thing, and we haven't actually done anything with the topic thing. So let's do another assert. Wow. Assert equals that our test topic is in our subscription. That we need to remember our topic because we're going to need it later, right? So, never heard of topic, but there we go. Okay, so we should have a failing test, but it should compile, and it fails. The other thing I should have done, I'm going to go ahead and do it, is I'm going to go ahead and say this equals test unset, and now should fail. Yeah, more better. Actual 42. 33. Okay. So yes, it expected a 2A, action 42. Okay, got it. So keep checking the stream, see if anybody's chatting. Okay. So let's we need to make this test pass. So to make the test pass, I think we need to go to our subscriptions and go to the topic and set the topic. I think that's all we need to do. Chunka. So, yep, passing tests. Yay. All right. So, we should probably do something with this action too. And I think what we want to do is we want our test action to be in our subscription as well. So we've got red, and so let's do a OS action T is our action. All right, so this should fail. Yep. And I'm gonna say test subscription action equals null as well. Okay, and then we'll go in here. Do one of those, and then we should be passing. All right, cool. So horribly exciting. Horribly exciting. So I think what we want to do next, I don't think there's anything else to assert at the moment. So what I'm going to do though, let's refactor and rename this. or first subscription. Okay. So now we have another test case. Check streaming things here. Okay. Looks like everything's working. Dropped frames. 0. Cool. All right. So, we're gonna do another test, and we're gonna say second subscription. So let's do this. So, second subscription. So eventually we're going to get into subscriptions on the same topic and then subscriptions on different topics. Eventually we're going to have to do that. At this point, I'm going to do what do I want to do? I'm going to do two topics. Let's take this horrible name and put a place where we can hang our test. Call setup, because we always call setup. And we're going to go ahead and test topic 2. Test topic 2. Some number. All right. So what do we expect to happen here? Again, I want to start out with the simplest thing that could possibly work. Even if it's inefficient, we'll make it better later. There's more setup here because this should be 2 topics. So one way to do this would be to do that. And in some ways, I kind of like that. Because then we can do second subscription, same topics, right? And in reality, I think that almost completely tests the first iteration. So let's do this. So we need to assert some things. And then do I want 2 actions? I do want 2 actions. So let's go through here and add another action. And the reason for this is I want to guarantee that this topic is this action and this topic is that action, and they're different things. And it's about testing the correctness of the thing, that all of these things are now unique. And so now we should expect a kind of unique solution. If we had just the one action, that would be ambiguous. So subscriptions. Oh, yeah. So now we need 2 subscriptions as well. So we're going to have to enhance that as well. But we have the ability to do so. And then instead of returning the same subscription every time, we want to emulate allocating more than one of them. And so I think that means we want a different different thing here. Returns sequence. The first time we call it, we want to return that one. And the second time, we want that one. Let's do that way. Okay, so, and let's be explicit there so that if things change, Tyler might complain. So now when we call malloc more than once, we're going to get the two things. So now, our first, I did that backwards, didn't I? Yeah. I think this makes more sense. Like that. The test things are the expected things. All right, so not a big deal. That, and then I want this to be the second one. And I think we're going to go with the whole simply linked list thing here. So do that. All right. All right. So to do this, that. Like that. And now this is happy, but we're going to have failure. So, yeah, so I want this. be that. And then I think we want to, if I can figure out how to work the keyboard. I think we want to do that. So, and let's go ahead and add that. And okay. So it doesn't like so my Malik. Oh yeah. Yeah, this might be a thing. This might be a bugaboo in the test framework, which is fun. Which means we'll have to go fix that. I understand the issue. If I do that, does it make it better? It does. All right, so we're just gonna go with that. Why is test timer? What did we just do? Things changed in a bad way. Thought there was a menu item here to really. Oh, I see. Alright, I'm gonna get rid of all these print messages. Oh, alright. Alright. Now what kind of craziness? I'm expecting the test to fail. So it's stack traced. Alright. That's failing. Yeah. It's failing because we're doing pointer stuff and not doing the pointer stuff. So here and specifically it's because we're nope. So since we changed that whole mock thing, I think we broke. Okay, so expected got some other crazy thing. Okay. And that's this line. Yeah, okay, yeah. So that's new behavior. And I think the next thing is going to be wherever this points to. because eventually we're going to do the whole linked list thing. So now, how is that? $43. All right, so that's this. And I seem to remember there was an issue with this, like, sequence thing. All right, so let's return the same thing in both cases. I think this is a bug in the unit test. Nope. But I do think it's a bug in the... See, the fact that this number is so big and wacky is... it's telling me something. So, what do we want to do here? All right, so if we take that out and put this back to mock returns OS mem alec a back step, essentially. Right. All right. So we have to do the linked list thing now. So what this means is we're going to change this. So we have a family test. We need to make the test pass and call this a new sub. And I think if we do that, which is essentially the linked list thing, we are good. Okay. So we take out that, put in that. It should be the same thing. No, and now we're getting wacky number. So it's like the sequence thing is broken in the test framework, which is possible. I'm not seeing it. So what to do? So we could yeah, so let's do that. So I'm gonna do get more information. Include standard IO. Here. See what we're getting. And then in here, and let's do a there. Print thing. Percent P. Percent P. All right, so this number is not either of those numbers. So that means something wacky. It's definitely happening. What if I did that? So this is a pointer to a return type. Okay. I'll figure that out in a minute. So this is kind of a big deal. So that's how that's supposed to work. Okay. Let's do that. Ah, I encountered this before. Now it works. So if we take out the print statement, which should be passive, it fails. we put in the print statement, which again is passive, it works. Frickin' C. All right, so what if we do that? And then it's gonna bitch. Okay. All right. What if do that? And that works. That is crazy. All right. So what if we do this part differently? What if instead we kind of do it longhand? I thought I figured out a solution to this. I've had this problem before, and I'm trying to remember what I did to make it better. And let's see if this works. I don't like it, but I'm curious. So without the printf. Do, 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 do. Do, do, do. But with the printf. And it works. Yep. Magic printf. So I think, and I may have to go dig through some stuff because I've seen this before, and I think I did something to fix it, quote unquote. Let's get rid of that. See what happens. All right, so that's working. Rid of the printf. And it's working. So the optimization is breaking it. Yeah. So something about the way the optimizer works breaks the code. So if we turn off the optimizer, and everything works. All right, we'll just leave it off. Do. Okay. That means we can get rid of printfs. So we might add them back in, but we'll do that. Get there. All right, so that's working. So let's put this test back in and see if that one works. $56. Ah. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. So we're getting the same thing, and I think I noted this before, that there is a bug in the test framework. And off by one thing. Oy. Okay. Bit more stuff so we can see what's going on. Okay. So the same, again, issue with the test thing. So what I'm going to do, let's do a cheaty thing here. Mock returns OS Alec. I thought I had the sequence thing working. I do have tests for the test framework, but Let's try that. Ta-da. So the sequence thing seems to be broken. So I'm going to open up okay. Doing this off screen. I'm going to go to my GitHub where the unit test. Yeah, and I already have a bug saying return sequences may not be working correctly. All right, so I already have a thing in so to do fix unit test framework. Oops. So we'll get there. This gets us where we want to go. And I'll probably do that at some point. Okay. So, okay. This test is working. I don't feel compelled to test the other things. I just want to test that the, yeah, we should test the other things. That's why we made them different. So we want to essentially take do that. So, all right. So let's get rid of this. Something tells me. Back at it. So I think our first kind of version of subscribe is done. It's just add a thing to the list. Oh, no, we're not done. So we have same topic. So static void thing void. Yeah, and I keep threatening to add macros to the editor to like type all the boilerplate stuff, but this is the same topic. So I think we're going to copy this and we're going to do different actions. I think it means we're going to do that. And I'm going to leave this in because I think what we're going to do is just edit the existing subscription. But I think we have one more test, and let me sketch that real quick before I forget. Test. Something like that. All right, so let's go back here. So I want these to be different. Even, right. So when we're done, I still want the subscriptions to be the subscription. In other words, this isn't used. That's still null. In other words, we're going to edit the existing subscription for the topic. Topic still the topic. And the action is action 2. Electric Boogaloo. So, all right. So this should fail. And I think the first thing that's going to fail is this one. Let's watch. Yep. So what we want to do is first we want to see if there's an existing subscription. If there isn't one, then we want to create a new one and do the thing with that. So I'm going to refactor this first and just rename this and call it sub. All right. And then let's do that. We haven't changed anything, right? So I think what we want to do is iterate the list and see if we already have the topic. So to do that, all right. So there's our iteration. And then if sub topic equals topic, then stop. And all right, now if topic equals topic, then sub action equals the new action. And we're Dunsky. If we don't find it, then create a new one and add it to the list. So wow. If the topic moment. We're just replacing. This is one of the things that we're going to do. One of the first things we're going to do to evolve the working thing is to not replace for now. So hopefully we'll get to the code where we're not going to replace it, we're going to add to it. So so this crappy first version has one subscriber per action. All right, so, and then we'll write a test program to, so, if we find it, what does that do? Okay, that worked. I think I had everything in here I wanted. Yep. All right, next case. So I keep hitting the wrong keys because I keep bouncing between Windows, macOS, and this editor and other editors, and my finger memory is all messed up because I work on too many different things. But it also means that I actually pay attention to what's going on. All right, so existing topic. So I think third subscription. So I think what I wanted to do was that, and then I wanted to test that we're actually like iterating the loop correctly, and yeah, so let's do this. So existing top. So what was I thinking? Third subscription. So I want to call subscribe again, but I think what I wanted to do, yeah, I think what I wanted to do was that. And then so this is the test. I'm gonna do it the other way around. I'm gonna do it that way. So the list thing should be fine. And then both of these should be on action 2. Yeah. So I believe this will pass. But I think it's an important case to verify. All right, so that passes. So I think for now, until we evolve it to have more than one action per topic, I think I want to move on to the other functions. So this keeps getting yet. All right. So I think we have a version of subscribe. Unsubscribe. What do we need to do to unsubscribe? We need to find the topic and basically remove it from the list. Right? So, so let's go ahead and do that. So we're going to need, I'm going to copy the subscribe. And call it unsubscribe. And we're going to take subscribe. Copy that one as well. Okay. And doing TDD. That takes a topic and an action. Sounds good. And that's unsubscribe. And we know nothing. I'm going to leave that because we know we're going to need it. And in the tests, I'm going to leave all this for now. Of course, all of our tests get gutted. And so all we have left is, come on, that, and let's go ahead and tell CMake to figure out that there's new stuff. And let me check